Hi, good evening. It's nighttime here in America, and I want to greet everybody a happy day, a happy good morning. I think it's 7 o'clock in the Philippines.
I
So
am one of your
magandang
critics
umaga po
noon
sa inyong lahat.
hanggang ngayon. My name is Lovely Granada. Uni
Oh,
Team
come on.
era, my voice.
Okay. Um, this is my first time ever to make a video to voice out my opinion and react with a post that I came across with my Facebook page, and I don't know when was this video was made. Maybe it was made after Bongbong Marcos were elected, or I'm not sure if this was made recently or something. I do not know, but I just want to voice my reaction and my opinion about what she said about her message to the president. And as we are in a democratic country, it's my right also to voice out my opinion and reaction about what she said. I'm talking about uh, the lovely Miss Lovely. I don't know exactly what's her family name, but I think I know her just as Lovely. And she became very popular recently. And to say that, I must say that I admired her because she is standing for the truth, not just because she is bashing the Duterte, which I don't like, or not because she is also making fun of Sara Duterte. That, and there were times that I laughed with her, and yeah, I like what she's doing. But then with this particular message, medyo teka muna, something is not right here. So I'm gonna show you guys her her post and let me know kung kailan ito nangyari, kung kailan niya ito ginawa. And I'm gonna let you
Just a
hear.
lot smaller back then. But my criticisms, especially about you, were big enough para kamuhian ng mga loyalista, mga DDS sa paligid ko. Mga dating kaklase, kaibigan, schoolmates, mga kakilala, mga DDS na minahal ka noon despite your unpleasant history. I never really liked the idea of you being president. At kahit nung nanalo ka, ayoko pa din sa'yo. At the back of my mind, you do not deserve that seat. Kaya naman nung nanalo ka, I felt a terrible pain for the Philippines and for my countrymen. Naglupasay ako hindi dahil natalo si Lenny, kundi dahil nung nanalo ang uni team na alam ko namang peke ang pagkakaisa, para bang bumagsak ang lahat ng gusto naming ipaglaban para sa bayan. Pero hindi ako
First, she said na ina-expect na niya na may magre-react sa kanyang mga sasabihin, that the DDS, the loyalists, na baka mag-hate daw sa kanya, magagalit sa kanya, and things like that. So, I just want to point out yung binanggit niya na ayaw daw niya kay President kahit na si Bongbong pa rin ang nanalo dahil fake daw ang unit team. Okay. I think this is for the sake of argument lang, para whether it's in the past or recently lang, matanggal ba yung mindset
of you.
na
At napagtanggol mo
lahat ng
dati ang mga
sinabi niya
DDS, sabi pa
ay
nila,
totoo. Okay? Like, she pointed out that fake yung unit team. Okay. I guess, in the heart, sa puso ni BBN, talagang gusto niya ng unity. Like, katulad nga ng recently lang na kahit na ayaw sa kanya yung mga taga Davao, ayaw sa kanya, majority of them na mga taga Cebu, ayaw din sa kanya. Sa kabila ng mga ganung pangyayari ay talagang pumunta pa rin siya, nakikipagtulungan, pinapatawag niya ang mga mayor sa buong bansa na pumunta ng Malacanang para magkaisa, magtulungan para sa progress. So, probably kung para sa iyo, Lovely, na hindi genuine ang unity na gusto ni PBBM. Maybe si PBBM lang talagang sincere siya na magkaroon ng unity para magkaisa-isa na ang buong bansa. It's just that it so happened na nagkamali siya na talagang hindi totoo ang intensyon ni Sara Duterte para magka-unite ang buong bansa. Now, I wanted also to point out na binanggit niya rin na ayaw niya kay PBBM at talagang disappointed siya, naglupasay siya, and he's so disappointed because natatakot siya sa kahihinatnan ng
Irespeto
bansang
ang binoto
Pilipinas.
ng taong bayan.
Yan. So, okay. So, he mentioned like the reason why kaya ayaw niya kay PBBM is because sa history ni PBBM. Now, my question is, may kinalaman pa rin ito. Although, again, I will say it again na kahit na ito ay nakaraan na or baka lumang video na niya, but then, pwede pa rin itong mag-connect sa present time para yung mga tao na hanggang ngayon ay they are clinging to that kind of mindset na he don't deserve to be president because somebody else is better than him, or he don't deserve to be president because he united the force to rebuild the Philippines to a wrong person. Okay. So, let's talk about what she said, that unpleasant history about Bongbong Marcos. So, I want to ask her actually what was in her mind when she said that, like, unpleasant history. Ano ba ang history ni Bongbong Marcos? When Bongbong Marcos was still senator, marami na siyang gustong mangyari sa Pilipinas na gusto niyang matapos na ang korupsyon sa buong Pilipinas dahil alam na niya he's been in the politics since he was a boy. He grew up in a dynasty and he grew up as the son of the best president ever. Aminin man sa hindi ng mga, lalo na ng mga Yellow Party, like the ever loyal Aquino and things like that, and ibang mga Pinklawan, that this Pinklawan nanggaling din sila sa Yellow Party actually. Yan. So, mga unpleasant daw na history. Ano ba ang unpleasant history ni Bongbong? Just because galing siya sa anak ng isang dictator na nag-rule sa Philippines for 20 years, and kaya sila napatalsik is because sa pagnanakaw daw dahil sa corruption. Okay, I might want to relate a story to Lovely and to all the people na hanggang ngayon ay binabalahura ang pagkatao ni Bongbong because anak siya ng kawatan and so forth and so on and things like that, like anak ng kawatan magiging kawatan din dahil ang tatay magnanakaw, blah 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 and things like that. Okay, and kesyo maraming pinapatay yung kan tatay niya noong panahon ng martial law. That was recorded. I mean, that was the story that was rewritten in the book. Actually, pinagawang libro yan ng mga Aquino after they kick out Marcos. Ginawa nila ng istorya na magnanakaw, na maraming pinatay, na bardugo, and things like that. And itinuro pa nila mismo sa mga school to brainwash the student that this family is the worst family, a traitor of the Philippine history, na talagang sobrang ang sama nila. That's how they painted the Marcos family noong bagong upo pa lang ng mga Aquino. Yeah, anyway. So I just want to go back sa history ng tatay ni Bongbong Marcos. Ferdinand A. Marcos, before ever he became the president of the Philippines, he was a soldier. He is a mighty soldier. He was a mighty soldier. He fought to defend the Filipino people against the Japanese. Yun. Ganun siya ang kanyang history. Now, noong tumakbo siya bilang presidente, kaliwa kanan, halos araw-araw, may kaguluhan na nangyayari. May mga sumasabog, nagpapasabog ang mga terorista, ang mga komunista, mga makaliwa, because they wanted the Philippines na mag-collapse at para mag-take over ang communism. Alright? So, that is the reason, that was the reason why Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law para malipol lahat ng mga leftists at mga forces of communism na nag-overtake sa ating bansa, because they wanted the Philippines to become Vietnam, as like the North Vietnam had fallen. I mean, the South Vietnam had fallen at ngayon na naging komunista na sila na bansa. At yun din ang gusto nilang mangyari sa Pilipinas, na mahulog tayo into communism. And the fact is, the evil forces of this world, they wanted all the country to become communist countries. So para mas madali nila makontrol ang mga tao, they want to install, okay, Lovely, I know you're a Christian, and I know you know the prophecy that the evil force wanted a one world government. So they wanted all the countries all over the world to fall into communism, so they can control the people and they can install the one world government. All right? So anyway, it's a broad discussion, but anyway, I'm going back to the presidency of Ferdinand E. Marcos, that after he was elected as president, the Philippines, was bankrupt. Dahil sa mga kaguluhan, walang gustong mag-invest, lahat ng mga investors lumayas, at walang pera ang Pilipinas. And the document will prove to you, Lovely, na ang bansa ay walang pera, at mismong pera ni Ferdinand Marcos ang ginamit niya para i-rebuild ang Pilipinas. He built infrastructures. He created programs para matulungan ang mga tao. And even mga taong panahon ni Marcos ay talagang sumama sa EDSA revolution na tinatawag nila. After na-outs na nila si President Marcos, Cory Marcos took over, then Fidel Ramos took over, and GMA took over, and then Erap Estrada took over, and GMA took over, Pinoy took over. Ang mga tao, simula noong umalis si Marcos, lalo na yung karamihan ng mga nag-participate sa People Power in 1986, now, na-realize nila na mas mabuti pa ang panahon nung president pa si Ferdinand Marcos. I was there. I'm 68 years old now, and ikaw ilang taon ka lang. Yeah. So I was there. Alam ko kung anong klaseng buhay mayroon ang mga Pilipino noong panahon ni Marcos. May disiplina, and everything is orderly, may peace and order. At ang mga taong galit lang sa kanya ay yung mga taong talagang mga taong nag-embrace ng communism as if communism is good for the country. Nagkaroon sila ng talagang agenda. And yeah, maraming namatay at pinahuli, pinapatay, and nothing is perfect though. Like, syempre, may mga tao din talagang umabuso sa kanilang katungkulan, bilang may mga sundalong maraming pinatay, may mga napagkamalan, but it is all for the sake of eliminating the communism, the leftist forces, na para maipagpatuloy nila ang kanilang agenda. So, like I said, wala naman perpekto. Siyempre, may mga taong nadamay, may napagkamalan, and I'm sure na yung mga sundalong umaboso ay talaga namang siguro tinanggap din nila ang disiplina na karapat-dapat para sa kanila. Now, I want to tell you also one incident ng noong People Power. Yung kanyang defense minister wanted to fight those people that are protesting against President Marcos. And ang sabi niya, isang word mo lang, President, just say the word at i-eliminate natin lahat ng mga tao na talagang lumalaban sa'yo. But then, President Marcos, his heart, his love for his fellow Filipinos. Ang sagot niya, no. Disperse them without firing a shot. I want no bloodshed. I don't want to hurt Filipino people. Kasi pinaglaban niya ito Pinaglaban niya ang mga Pilipinong ito noong gera ng Second World War, noong gera natin sa Hapon. Pinaglaban niya yan. At ngayon, papayagan niya na mamatay o barilin, masaktan, mamatay, something like that. And he don't want that to happen. That's why he decided to step down. At yun na nga, kinidnap na siya, dinala ng Hawaii. The history after that. So, doon mo lang makikilala kung gaano ang puso ng mga Marcos para sa mga Filipino people. Others claim that meron siyang ninakaw na pera, blah, 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 and things like that. And I don't know kung maaring, I'm not so 100% sure na talagang everything was clean and everything ay tama, or I'm not so sure then kung talagang hindi tama. But one thing I was sure, President Ferdinand Marcos did what is best for the country. Kahit na nga mawala siya sa poder, he sacrificed that. He did that. He saved the lives of the Filipino people. Ayaw niyang may masaktan. That is the kind of heart that President Ferdinand Marcos have for the Filipino people. And that's how he raised Bongbong Marcos as well. He was a soldier, and Bongbong also was a soldier. So, who are you to say that he don't deserve to be president? Okay, so who are you to say na mas meron pang mas karapat-dapat para maging presidente ng Pilipinas? Is because sa kanyang nakaraan, dahil sa kanyang pamilya, magnanakaw daw? It's bullshit. Napatunayan yan sa New York. Wala silang ninakaw. Okay? Wala silang ninakaw. They have proven, they fought for it. 32,000 document proved that wala silang ninakaw. Sila ang ninakawan. Yes, it's their money. They invested their own money to build up Philippines. At hanggang ngayon, we enjoy all those investment ng Marcos sa sarili nilang pera. Yes, I will agree na it's painful for you para ma-realize mo na hindi nanalo ang manok mo because you were thinking that your president candidate is a better option. Yeah, it's painful. Katulad din ng mga naramdaman ng mga pro-Marcos noong vice presidency na natalo si Bongbong Marcos at nanalo si Leni Robredo. But in the end, it was proven na talagang si Bongbong Marcos ang nanalo. Anyway, enough of that. So you mentioned that for the sake of the country, so you feel very sad na talagang naglupasay ka pa dahil mahal mo ang Pilipinas at yung mga nanalo ay hindi mo gusto, they don't deserve to be president. And yeah, tama yung ginawa no, yung ginawa mo dahil for the sake of his office, dapat respetuhin mo siya. I mean, respetuhin mo yung kanyang office bilang president and I commend you for that. Pero dahil lang ba sa nagkaroon sila naging magkaanib sila ni Sara Duterte, that's why you don't trust him? That's my question. Kasi kahit si Bongbong Marcos, don't you think hindi rin siya disappointed na he made a wrong choice? Or maybe let's make a conspiracy theory here. Kasi sometimes kahit si President Trump sinabi niya na sometimes it's better that your enemy is just sitting right beside you so you know exactly what they are going to do. Instead na yung kalaban mo, milya-milya ang layo sa iyo and you do not know what they are planning to do against you. So, I don't know, maybe sinadya na talagang mga Duterte ang kunin niya para ilagay sa pwesto, para malapit sa kanya ang kalaban. And they know what they are planning. And I think talagang totoong it was a wise decision. I think dahil nakita ka agad after 1 year, after almost 2 years, nakita nila ang purpose ni Sara Duterte. Dahil andyan sa tabi niya eh. I think that was the strategy kaya siya nakipag-unite kay Sara Duterte, sa mga Duterte. Because Bongbong is not stupid not to know kung anong uri ng pamilya ang mga Duterte. He's in the politics since he was young. So he knows ang mga galawan ng mga politiko. So it's part of the strategy. They think that ang sa isip ng mga Duterte ay weak si President Bongbong and they are just trying to play him. Hindi nila na-realize that maybe it was Bongbong Marcos who played them. Hinayaan niya na nasa pwesto sila para mahulog sila sa sarili nilang bitag. Akala nila kaya nilang utuin si Bongbong Marcos. Akala nila kaya nilang pasundin. Akala nila pag nanalo si Bongbong Marcos, business as usual. Yun ang laro sa politika. Akala nila the same old business na ganito ganyan, bigayan, things like that. And pagtatakpan ang mga ginagawang kalokohan because magkapartido, magkaalyado, and blah blah blah. You mentioned in your message to the president that pagod na ang sambayan ng Pilipino. Well, actually, no. We were inspired because we know we have voted the right person. Well, except we did not voted for the vice president. Okay? But we voted the right person as the president. So, anong magagawa ng vice president against the president? Okay? So, pagod na. Okay, pagod na rin ang presidente sa paninira ng mga Duterte. Okay? That might be his mistake, that might be his error, or that might be the strategy na talagang kinuha niya ang kalaban na nandyan lang sa tabi niya nakaupo para ma-caught in the act sila at hindi na sila makakaporma pag nahuli sila sa kanilang mga plano sa Pilipinas. You mentioned also about the president lying. Alin ba ang mga bagay na you should have really pointed out kung saan nagsinungaling ang presidente. Para kahit ako man, naintindihan ko at alam ko kung bakit sinabi mo na nagsisinungaling ang presidente. You mentioned about your doubt about her about his sincerity. Siguro dahil si Sara ay hindi naging sincere, so you think na ang presidente ay hindi rin naging sincere sa kanyang paglilingkod na sinasabi. Karapatan mo yan na magkaroon ng doubt, okay? Because para sa iyo wala ka pang nakitang pruweba talaga na ginawang talagang sapat para makumbinsi ka na ang presidente ay nagtatrabaho at para sa kapakanan ng mga tao. So, it is understandable na maaring ma-misinterpret yung message mo para sa presidente. Like me, talagang na-misinterpret ko rin. I don't know exactly what are your motives are. Like, nagda-doubt ka sa sincerity ng presidente and you feel uncomfortable. You're not solidly convinced na talagang ang presidente ay sincere sa kanyang pagiging presidente bilang pinuno ng bayan. And maybe ang question dito is not you are uncomfortable kung kung video na to ay ginawa mo lately and the fact are there na talagang the president is doing his best. He did everything. He wakes up early in the morning, 4 o'clock, and then have a cabinet meeting and 10 o'clock, and then around 11, lumilipad na siya. He goes to check almost every day. He go and check all his projects, his infrastructures, to make sure that it's all done quickly, possibly for the benefit of the people dahil kailangan ng mga tao yun. Like mga highways na ginagawa, mga tulay, so makaka-benefit ang tao. If you have done this video, just let me know. If you have done this video long time ago and you have questions about the sincerity of the president, then I will tell you that you are wrong. And if this was done just recently, then I will tell you that you are blind, just like the DDS people. Because I think your mind is engrossed with your admiration to Leni Robredo, that she is the best president. I'm sorry. This is how I interpret what you're trying to say. You sounded like you are bitter, just like the Duterte supporters. They are bitter because hindi nila mapababa si President Marcos. And you sounded like you are bitter because hindi nanalo ang manok mo. Okay? So that's how I interpret it. I'm sorry, we have our own opinion. So, yeah, I misinterpret what you're trying to say. Then you said that gusto mong mag-fail ang Marcos administration para maisampal mo sa pagmumukha ng mga taong bumuto kay Presidente Marcos at may Sara Duterte. Oh, well, tama siguro na talagang sobra kang nasaktan dahil natalo ang presidente mo, which for you is the best option for the Philippines to become the leader. But when you said that, kung hindi mo kinuha ang mga Duterte, sana we are not in this mess. So it sounded like parang kailan lang na ginawa mo itong video na to because we are indeed in a mess dahil sa pagkakagulo, dahil sa impeachment, dahil sa flood scam, the flood control scam, mga taong involved. Yeah, we are in a mess. But I want to ask you something. Kailan pa ba nangyari sa politika ng Pilipinas na walang mess? Even during the time of Cory Aquino, ang daming pangyayari, ang daming kodita, ang daming kaguluhan, ang mga rebelde, panay-panay ang patayan, panay-panay. It's a mess. Much worse right now. It's a mess. Doon sa amin, sa Coronadal, parating may pumuputok na sumasabog na bomba. We are bombarded with all kinds of terrorist activities during Aquino's time. And there are many people also in their home province in Tarlac where people died dahil sa kanilang sigalot about the land grabbing, so-called land grabbing ng mga Aquino from the farmers. Maraming namatay sa harap ng Malacanang na nagpoprotesta against Cory Aquino. So I don't want to name them one by one or tell them every details of everything that happened during the Cory Aquino administration. But I will tell you, it was a mess. Worse than the mess right now. Okay? So, even during Fidel Ramos' time, it was a mess. Much worse, even during Gloria Arroyo's time. Kaya dito lumabas si Trillanes. Ilang beses nagkudita si Trillanes because there was so much corruption, the scandal of the Comelec and Hilo Garci and everything. It was a mess, worse than the mess we are experiencing right now. So, don't tell me na dahil kinuha niya si Sara Duterte, we are now in the mess. Come on. Mag-isip ka naman. Walang politika, walang presidente na tumayo na hindi humarap sa mga maraming pagsubok. Walang mga presidenteng tumayo na maraming kumakalaban. The bottom line is, may mga puwersa from outside the country's politics. May mga puwersang naglalaban to create chaos sa ating bansa. And we should be aware of that. You should learn international politics because this is nothing to do with Duterte and the Marcos right now. It has nothing to do with that. I mean, the Duterte are just puppets. Alright? Whether you accept it or not. Hindi ito pangbansang problema lang. This is an international issue. It concerns about our sovereign water. It concerns about our resources in the Philippines na gustong kamiin ng ibang bansa. It concerns about the strategic location ng ating bansa. That is why China is after us. After our country na ma-control nila ang ating bansa so they can control the world. They can control, I don't want to go deeper sa ganitong usapin, sa ganitong points of view, but I just want to tell you na we are fighting against the interest of other country, right? We are fighting for our own sovereignty. At ang mga tao, ang mga politiko, ang mga korap dyan, they are just puppets na gustong angkinin ng ating bansa. So, for you to say that the president should do his job, what else do you want? Okay? Halos hindi na nga natutulog ang presidente. Halos nagkakasakit na nga siya. Even the doctors would tell him, no, you can't work yet. But talagang pumupunta siya. He goes and do his job and he check everything every day. And kahit na nga ipagtabuyan pa siya, kahit binababoy siya, kahit binabalahura siya, pinagmumura siya, katulad nung nangyaring sunog at lindol sa Davao, he knows that his worst enemies. Pero for the sake ng mga tao, because that's how much he loves his country. So you cannot question his sincerity sa kanyang paglilingkod para matulungan lalo na ang mga mahihirap. You cannot question his sincerity sa pagtulong niya sa mga tao, sa mga naapektuhan ng baha at lindol sa Cebu. And even yung governor nila na kilalang strong Duterte supporter, nagbigay ng pasalamat sa presidente because they felt, naramdaman nila how much the president cared for the people of the Philippines, disregarding whoever they are they supporting him or not, they deserve because they are Filipino. So you also mentioned about his credibility. All right, so can you be specific kung saan siya hindi nagiging credible? Isa ka rin ba sa mga marites na naniniwala sa mga akusasyon ng mga kalaban sa kanya? You know very well who are these people. They constantly lie every day. They lie and lie every day just to destroy the credibility of the president. And I think the way you say it, that the president, you question his credibility, it seems to me that you believe of the things that they accuse him of. Yes, we have different opinion, and this is my opinion about what you are trying to send a message to the president and what you are trying to tell the people also who are following you. You are, for me, my opinion, you are planting a seed of doubt sa puso ng mga tao about the credibility of the president, especially to us who believe on President Bongbong Marcos. So, what are you trying to say? Na, let me see, I forgot. I took a note of everything that you said so I can make my point about this. Oh, okay, you mentioned about humble yourself. Admit his mistakes, where he failed, like you said that he was lying, that he lied on something. Can you be specific in what part of his life, in what part of his job did he lie to the people? Tell me and tell us specific. What was that? So we would understand. I will understand why you said that he lied, okay? And now you want him to humble. What kind of humbleness you desired of him? Like, he need to humble, like saying, I'm sorry? Or what? I don't get it. I don't see any reason why he have to humble on something. But I understand at one point of his administration, I think that was last year, because the people are demanding he is not fulfilling his promise, like houses and progress and lahat ng mga issue ng Pilipinas. Okay? So he humbled himself. May shortcoming siya dahil hindi niya ginampanan yung mga dapat niyang gampanan. It's simply because ang daming nanggugulo. Kaya nga halos wala na siyang time to answer all those accusations to him. He just work, and work. Kasi naghahabol siya ng oras to come up with a solution doon sa mga dinidemand ng mga tao. And also, I read some of your followers making a comment that you feel the same way. I feel the same way. Like, parang I feel what you're trying to say. Like, okay, parang hindi ko rin nga naramdaman yung sinasabing pinangako ni President Marcos. Okay, I wanna tell you something like, nung nag-take over si PBBM, ang utang ng Pilipinas is 14 trillion. Walang pera, bankrupt. So, you cannot expect the president na matupad niya kaagad-agad ang mga ipinangako niya sa mga tao. We don't have money. Kaya nga nangutang siya. But despite of that, he was able to pay off yung mga perang inutang niya. Like, it documented, it's in the news, that in 2023, he was able to pay the money he owed worth 1 1.9 trillion. Binayaran niya yon. And then in 2024, he was able to pay 2 trillion. Halos bayad na at sobra pa sa mga inutang niya yung perang ibinayad niya. Ang sobra doon, pumunta pa doon, pambayad sa utang ni Rodrigo Duterte. So he did his best para mapatunayan na talagang nagtatrabaho siya. So, kung hindi mo yan nakikita, at kasi naging busy ka na, naging busy ka na sa mga issue, sikat ka na, marami ka ng pinupuntahan, marami ka ng mga speaking engagement, marami ka ng mga hosting na ganito, ganyan, punta ka dito, kinakausap ka, and mga issues about the Duterte and things. But, na-miss mo ang mga tunay na mga issue about sa mga accomplishment ni Bongbong Marcos. So now, maraming reklamo ang mga tao. Hindi magic ang lahat. Okay? Siguro dapat ituro sa mga high school student and a little bit of economics so they will understand how it works. Na pag umupo ang bagong presidente, yeah, hallelujah. Tomorrow, progress na. Tomorrow, mura na ang bigas. Tomorrow, mura na ang bilihin. It's because may bago ng presidente. It doesn't work that way. When Ronald Reagan won the presidency, it took him 8 years to be able to recover the economy of America. It took him 2 terms para makarecover ang Amerika. BBM is just there. Merely 4 years. Anong pwede niyang gawin? But somehow, marami na siyang natulungan. Mga farmers, pabahay, infrastructure. Pinagpatuloy niya ang mga proyektong iniwan ni Rodrigo Duterte because pera ng mga tao yun. So dapat niyang tapusin. It doesn't matter who deserves the credit, but he still did it. Because tao ang makikinabang, hindi siya. You said, help us to support you. In what way? In what way? We are a democracy. You can say exactly what he needs to do. You want him to prove to the Filipino people that his heart is for the Filipino people. He has proven it many, many times, every day. So you're saying na you're praying for him. Good. You should continue to pray. Dahil he needs your prayers. But also, I would suggest you should also pray for yourself to broaden your knowledge, para mabuksan pa ang puso mo. Not that you are just focusing on your admiration to a certain person na para ka ring DDS na nakakulong ka lang din sa isang direksyon ng iyong paghanga. Of course, I understand that dahil mahal mo ang Pilipinas, gusto mong maituwid ang lahat ng problema ng Philippines and you think she's the only one who can solve all this problem. That's why na-miss mo yung mga point na dapat din bumabaling ka ng tingin sa mga accomplishment ni President Marcos. Kasi yung ginagawa mo, whether this video was long time ago or just recently, I want to tell you, you are planting a seed of doubt. Hindi ka nakakatulong. Yes, you said, help us to support you. But you don't really mean you're doing it. Ang dami mong reklamo. Like, do your job, do your job, do your job. Ano pang job ang gusto mo? Okay? Ano pang job ang gusto mong gawin niya para sa'yo? Busy na nga siya eh. Wala na nga siyang time para sagutin yung mga tinatapon na mga dumi ng mga kalaban niya sa kanya. So ano pang uri? Gusto mo bang Halos wala nang tulog ang presidente. Honestly, maawa ka naman sa ating presidente. The message you sent seems so patriotic, as if you really cared for this country. But there are points na talagang kaya nagbibigay ako ng reaction ngayon because help us to support you. Yeah, but sa atin dapat manggagaling yung support sa presidente para magawa niya ang dapat niyang gawin. Hindi yung kailangan patunayan niya muna para suportahan mo siya. President Reagan said, the government, do what you can do for the government, and not what the government can do for you. So, ang support dapat sa atin manggagaling. Huwag tayong magdidemand. Okay, you don't like him. Until now, you don't like him. Then, just support him. Itong mga sinasabi mo, nagdadagdag lang ito ng kasiraan ng presidente. You demand that he humble. He did that. You demand that huwag siyang magsinungaling. Saan siya nagsinungaling? You demanded na gawin niya ang trabaho niya. Hindi na nga siya natutulog. Ano pang gusto mong gawin mong... ano pang sinasabi mong set aside your pride? What pride? Wala nang pride ang Pangulo. Binabalasubas na, binababoy na ang kanyang pagkatao. Kahit mismo ang kapatid niya, binababoy siya. So ano pang pride? Wala na siyang pride. What are you saying, lovely? Wala nang pride ang Pangulo.
Era, my voice was a lot smaller back then, but my criticisms, especially about you, were big enough para kamuhian ng mga loyalista, mga DDS sa paligid ko, mga dating kaklase, kaibigan, schoolmates. Mahal ka noon despite your unpleasant.
So you sounded like martyr ka dahil the DDS people and the loyalista hated you dahil masyado kang vocal sa iyong opinion at masyado kang critical sa iyong pagtuligsa sa ating presidente. Well, you said that people might just interpret what you're trying to say and taken it out of context. For me, isa lang ang pagkakaunawa ko na you are bitter dahil hindi nanalo si Leni, whom you think is the best for the Philippines and for the sake of your country. So now, forgive me kung nagkamali ako, kung sa tingin mo mali ako. But the way I understand, the way I analyze what you're trying to say, na PBBM doesn't deserve your respect, well, isa lang ang masasabi ko. If you are trying to rebuild the stage for Leni Robredo to magnify her capability na siya ang dapat na mamuno sa ating bansa, because very soon is going to be an election time. Aalis na, tapos na ang term ni President Marcos. So now, mga kakamping, they are now on the move. Ang dami ko nang nakikita mga posts that Leni, mataas ang survey, and blah, blah, blah. May mga advanced campaign strategy na lumalabas. So, my opinion is, kaya mo sinasabi o pinalabas ang video na ito, kung ito ay recent lang, is to build up the popularity of Leni Robredo. So, ang pakiusap ko lang, spare the president. Please, stop. Stop. Don't use the president para i-push ang political career ni Leni Robredo as your next president. Wala na kasi kayong issue against Sara dahil Sara, wala nang pag-asang manalo yan. I mean, wala nang pag-asa maging presidente yan. Makalusot man siya sa impeachment, hindi siya makakalusot sa ICC. she's going to prison. So wala na kayong issue, wala na kayong problema kay Sara Duterte. So make an issue na lang sa ibang bagay. Not the president. Please, stop it. The president doesn't deserve all your critical thinking about sa mga ginagawa niya that he has not done enough. He has done enough. Leave Mr. President Bongbong Marcos alone sa inyong laro. I'm sorry. I'm telling you. Huwag niyong isangkalan ang dating presidente. Yan na kasi ang naging kaugalian sa politika dito sa Pilipinas. In order for them, para mapakita nila na sila ang the best para sa bansa na susunod na maging presidente, parati nilang sinasangkalan, parati nilang ginagamit at sinisiraan ang dating presidente. So, don't do that to Bongbong Marcos. In fairness to him, sobra na siyang nasaktan. Marami nang nanakit sa kanya. Huwag mo nang dagdagan. Huwag nyo nang dagdagan. Kung ano man ang mga issue ninyo, they're not true. You can't show any proof na talagang he is guilty of this and that and those, whatever, ang mga issue ninyo na gusto nyong manira. Kung may problema kayo, then okay, fine. Pagtapos na sa kanyang termino, then idemanda nyo. Dalhin nyo sa husgado. Singilin nyo kung ano man ang mga pagkukulang niya. But wag nyo siyang gawing sangkalan right now. Kawawa naman siya. Kawawa naman siya. Halos binaboy na siya ng husto ng mga Duterte. So, leave him alone. Find another way para masigurado ninyo mananalo si Leni Duterte. Don't use the president. Leave him alone. Please.